What's up, guys? This is Doug with Basement Level Magic, and we are back for another Oath of the Gatewatch Swiss draft. We've opened a rare that I am not crazy about playing in the Stonehaven Outfitter. It's okay. It's an ally. You know, if you're playing in equipment, I guess it gets better. There's not a ton of really great stuff here. I guess Mind Melter's pretty good. Goblin Freerunner actually has performed pretty well for me. Brute Strength is good if you're already in the deck, but it's not something you want to first pick. I could see taking a Sidemaster, I guess. Make a Stand is also a card that I've been impressed with, but feels like kind of dirty to take as a first pick. Seer's Lantern is like maybe my best option. I guess I'm gonna take the Goblin Freerunner. This is to say the least, this is a disappointing pack. I mean, white's good, but I don't know that I want to play equipment or that I'll even get any good equipment to play. So I guess I'm first picking a Goblin Freerunner, which feels kind of dirty. Here we have a choice between two really excellent cards. We got Boulder Salvo or Oblivion Strike. Oblivion Strike is almost always going to be a better card in any deck playing black. Boulder Salvo, though, is red and on color. I think we go ahead and take the Oblivion Strike. I sort of hesitate to play black. So many people are trying to build a white-black deck that it just seems like you always get cut. When you don't get cut, you end up with a lot of the devoid creatures. So I feel like Boulder Salvo might be easier to build a deck around, but that's also hard to say. The Sky Climber is a good card. Slaughter Drone, if you're already in devoid, is good. So really, I'm just between Boulder Salvo and Oblivion Strike here. And I know my first pick isn't even that good in red, so maybe I should be taking the black card, but I think I'm going to stay on color and take the Boulder Salvo, and I know people are not going to like that pick, but I think that's just the best option I have. Here, Devouring Flames is sort of rewarding me for staying in red. Also of note is the Saddleback and the Cinder Barons, but you got to take this Devouring Flames, I think. So far we're just like straight removal. I mean, here we take a Reality Hemorrhage. We need to start picking up some creatures, but I mean, we're getting all the good red stuff. Here we could go with a dual land. We could take a Visions of Brutality. We could take a Blinding Drone. I think Blinding Drone's a good card. If I'm going to build a red deck, I sort of like to pair it with white, but I actually like Unnatural Endurance a lot too. And then Pathfinder keeps us colorless. Havoc Sower is actually quite a good card as well. I think I'm going to take the Havoc Sower. Visions is a good card. I just have like 0 creatures right now. Well, 1. So here we're starting to see a lot more blue. So we got a Sweep Away. We got a Prophet of Distortion. Alpha Protector's okay if you're already in white. I wouldn't play it. You know, if I wanted to get into white, it's not a good first pick in white. Could just take the Seer's Lantern. Could take the Sweep Away. I think Sweep Away is probably the best card here. There's a piece of equipment, not a particularly good one. 6 mana to get an effect off of it. That's pretty expensive. Good chance you hit with it though, with Menace ability. But it's just not a card I'm interested in. I'm going to take the Sweep Away because I think it's the best card, but we're still open. We could be in anything. So I like the Havoc Sower. I like the Gravity Negator. I would even play a Bonesaw. Unnatural Endurance versus Tar Snare is probably my pick here, though. And I think I want the Unnatural Endurance. Well, Zendikar Resurgent in green seems amazing. Other than that, we have an Immobilizer, which is just a 2/1, you know, for 2, which is a pretty good attacker. And maybe an okay ability? I'm not sure. I don't know. I've played against some green-red decks. None of them seemed all that good. But it is a rare, and it's by far the best card in the pack. Could also just take a Crumbling Vestige. I think we'll do that. I like the fixing since we don't know what our second color really is yet. Here we can take a second Unnatural Endurance or another Sweep Away. I mean, I guess I like either option. The Sweep Away seems like the more powerful card. I think I'll take that. Here I think again we're just going to take a fixing card. Here we have a choice between Sky Scour or Gravity Negator. We're looking pretty devoid. I don't know, maybe we don't play the Havoc Sword, or maybe we just cut the free runner if we need to go into a more of a devoid strategy. I don't want to play Elemental Uprising really. Yeah. There's second Unnatural Endurance anyway, so I guess we passed an Oblivion Strike that could have been in our deck, so that's something to consider. I mean, maybe we should have just gone into Black Red earlier, but it seemed like kind of a safer bet to just stick with the color we already were in. But I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in the same deck I was last time. White definitely seemed close, which it often does. So we got a couple of good green-red cards here. One good red-white card. So there's another Oblivion Strike we could take. I would love to see the Zados Commando come back, but I think since now it looks like we're probably just going to be red-black. I want the Oblivion Strike. It's a shame we could have had two of them, but you just never know where you're going to end up. And I like our removal very much. So I'm not sorry that I took the red cards. Embodiment of Fury is a pretty good card. Another Oblivion Strike. So there's very little chance we get this Embodiment of Fury back. But since I passed the first Oblivion Strike, I'm kind of tempted to take this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now we need to lower our curve quite a bit. We could take another Oblivion Strike. Oh my god, it's too good. I mean, I can't not take it. I cannot pass it. Spark Mage's Gambit's a card I like if I have some creatures in my deck. This one I don't. So I think I'm just going to take this Kozilek's Translator. And we need to start really prioritizing creatures in the 2 and 3 drop slot. Our removal suite looks very good, but I think it's time to start putting some other stuff in the deck. So we take a Vampire Envoy, or we can take a Flame Seeker. I think Envoys is a better card in a vacuum. Could also just take the Slaughter Drone, as it looks like we're pretty much a red-black devoid deck, not so much a red-black ally deck. That being said, the Vampire Envoy won't wheel, and the Slaughter Drone has a good chance to wheel. So I think in this case I'm going to take the Envoy. Shame we didn't see any really good green cards because we got some fixing, but that's alright. Nothing to say we won't. If we can pick up a couple of Nettle Drones or something, I think we'll be okay. Kind of fill out our 3-drop slot. I think our 4-drop slot is pretty stacked right now. Wouldn't mind something big for the top end, and then I want like 2 or 3 more 2-drop creatures. We got a lot of creatures to pick up from here on out. Hopefully we end up with enough playables. That's a little rough. I'd love to take an Isolation Zone, but it's too late for us. We need to take creature. I did say I wanted something for the top of the curve. Could take them off Kozilek, which is another 4-drop. I think we'll take the bigger creature. Here I'm thinking I'll probably take the... God, it's another 4-drop. I guess we'll take the... I don't want to pass creatures, but I think a Crumbling Vestige is probably like a better card. Since we have like no allies to tap with the Chain Mage, and it's just a 4/2. So this deck may not turn out quite like we had hoped. Well, I guess we would have had 2 Chain Mages had we taken the first one, but with a pack to go and being at like 16 good playables, it's a shame that we have to, like, we're gonna open like some bomb black removal card in the 3rd pack and then be pissed because we can't we can't pick it. Another 4-drop. Yeah, I mean, sure. Havoc Sword is a good card. We may want a Corpse Churn. I'm not sure yet, so let's just throw that in the sideboard. We could have had like the all Oblivion Strike and Sweep Away deck. Like sweep it away, put it on top of their deck. Next turn they draw it, play it, we kill it. Alright, Seer's Lantern I think actually probably makes the deck at this point. I think we'll just cut the Spawnbinder Mage. We get 2 Corpse Churns for the board. Alright, so pack 3, really looking for, oh, I don't know, like, probably not Gruesome Slaughter. I don't want to go down that road again. I think, God, there it is, the Grip of Desolation. That is exactly the card I was thinking of when we were discussing if I would take a creature. I don't think I can. I think I have to take the Grip. I mean, what am I going to first pick like a 2-drop over a Grip of Desolation? I mean, I don't think I can do that in good conscience. Here I can take a Invoker or a Valakut Predator. I think we're not looking like an aggressive deck. I think probably we want to shoot for a better long game. I hope to get Transgress the Mind back. I would love to have Myers Malice, so either one of those would be good. But I think we just want the Invoker here. Wouldn't mind a big Eldrazi now. Like that one or a Sludge Crawler. Oh, I feel like our deck needs something like a Sludge Crawler, but the Ruin Processor is pretty tempting here. Other than that, Boiling Earth, which would be okay. Looming Spires would be okay. I wouldn't prioritize coming to play tapped land that taps for a colorless or a colored mana at this point. And we're not in an aggressive deck, so the 1/1 on first strike could be relevant, but probably wouldn't be. Yeah, I'm gonna regret this, but I'm gonna take the big guy. Our deck is primarily colorless. There's not a red card in this pack. I think I want the Swarm Surge. I don't know that we can play it, but I do like the card. Here we have Mindraker versus Silent Skimmer, both 4-drops. I think Silent Skimmer is probably a better card for a grindy deck, since it can attack into so many things. What would I cut here? Maybe an Unnatural Endurance? I don't know if that's the final cut we'll make, but I actually might want to just cut the like 1 ally. This is looking like an 18-land deck. Probably, I would like to get at least 3 more creatures. Wouldn't mind one more like 2-drop, one more, or 3-drop, and then one more like 5-drop. Yeah, we could have had 4 Oblivion Strikes and 3 Sweepaways. That would have been a pretty annoying deck to play against. The fact that for 4 mana you can really just eliminate any creature, though, is pretty awesome. You know, normally like a Calastri Healer would be a real good card for red-black if we were playing allies. We're not. I don't know. Nothing here really seems that good for us. I did want a 5-drop, not a 4-drop, or a 2-drop. So I guess we can throw the Calastri Healer back in. I did say I wanted a 5-drop, so there's a Nightwatch. I mean, maybe we end up putting some of the allies back in. Could take a Bone Splinters. I think we got enough removal. I do like Sure Strike, and there's nothing else here that I would play, so I'm fine with taking a Sure Strike. We'll see. We'll have to count up what we have that requires colorless, because we have Crumbling Vestige, Holdout Settlement, 2 Crumbling Vestiges, and a Holdout Settlement. No, if we saw a good card to splash, I suppose we could splash too. with 2 Crumbling Vestiges and maybe like, I don't know if it was green. 2 Crumbling Vestiges and a Timber Gorge. Here, I think the only thing for us is really the Slide Runner. That's fine. You need some early stuff in this format because you can lose by like turn 5 or 6 before you've even gotten really your feet on the ground. If your opponent gets out early. I think the Myers Malice is a good card. I definitely would like the Bone Splinters. I don't know that we play it at this point, but it'd be nice to have. Nothing here for us. Suppose we take this Skyline Cascade. I mean, we could, I guess, splash the Sweepaways, but it's not really... The Crumbling Vestige is really not a good card for splashing, like, it's good for splashing a creature or an enchantment, but it's not really good for splashing a combat trick or anything, because it's only creates the colorless one time, or the colored mana one time, and only when it comes into play. Alright, so we end up with about 15 creatures. 16 if we want to play a Geyser Field Stalker, which I don't think gets enough credit. The fact that it has Menace is pretty relevant. So it probably 2-for-1s more often than not if you're playing an 18-land deck. So let's go ahead and group our creatures separately. I don't think we have room to really cut any creatures. I could see maybe putting the Zulaport Chainmage back in. Since we actually ended up with more allies than I thought we would. We could definitely cut the cohort, I think. I think 14 creatures is enough. I mean, that is if we're not going to put the Chainmage back in. If we put the Chainmage back in, we probably want to play the cohort. So we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 allies, 6 if we play the Chainmage, 7 if we play the cohort. So half our creatures are allies. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. And since this doesn't look like an aggressive deck whatsoever, I could kind of see cutting the Sky Scour, playing the Reckless Cohort, playing the Chainmage. And then I think probably we've got really excellent removal. Really excellent removal if we can draw it and if we have the lands to play it. I think probably not a Swarm Surge deck. I think we want the Seer's Lantern. Just gets you out of too many problems if you don't draw well. We're not cutting a Oblivion Strike. I think this seems like a grindy deck, and so I don't really want to cut the Myers Malice. I think it seems really good. I could see cutting probably... I guess I would cut 1 of the Unnatural Endurance and play 1. I could also see putting the Reality Hemorrhage in the sideboard until we see what kind of creatures our opponent's playing, but it goes to the face, which makes me a little tempted. But we still have like 4 cuts to make. Yeah, this is tough. I could see cutting like maybe 1 creature. I just don't know what it would be. Since I put the allies back in, I don't really want to cut an ally. I guess we could cut the Sure Strike. Seems like more of a aggressive deck kind of card. It's a nice combat trick, but our combat math is going to be more like having big blocking creatures. if we had like 2 or 3 more 2-drops and 2 or 3 less 4-drops, or even a combination of 2 and 3 drops or 1, 2, and 3 drops, then yeah, I would want a Sure Strike. I would probably want to play the other Natural Endurance. I think you just play as many Oblivion Strikes as you can get. You never cut Grip of Desolation, I guess. And then, yeah, and then it's like Devouring Flame seems too good to cut. Boulder Salvo seems too good to cut. Reality Hemorrhage seems too good to cut. We have a couple of exile effects. We have the Grip. We have the Oblivion Strikes. So I think we'll probably get life off of Ruin Processor more often than not. This is tough. I feel like we're cutting some pretty good cards. I wish in between games it would leave the sideboard the way you left it, rather than mixing it all back up together. It would make sideboarding a heck of a lot easier. I don't know. I want to be able to activate my Havoc Sowers and, you know, my Pathfinder. So it's pretty tough for me to want to, like, cut the Seer's Lantern. I have so many 4-drops. I definitely want to get down to, like, 22 playables. I guess the Slide Runner could come out. It's more of an aggressive card, and I don't think the deck is super aggressive, so maybe that's a good cut. And then really we need 2 more. This is tough. I mean, the bigger creatures in a deck like this, I think, are definitely to our benefit. I think more often than not, this gets played as a 2 or 3 drop as well. Probably put it in here. Same with this. This has been a tough deck to build. I mean, these are all excellent playable cards that I would play in almost any red-black deck. And I feel like they don't fit. So 2 cuts. Maybe we have a little too much removal. I mean, the efficiency of our removal is just so good. Alright, I think I'm going to cut the Myers Malice, which makes me feel like dirty and wrong, and like something in the universe is not quite right. And then I don't think we can cut a creature. I think we gotta cut, like, I think Reality Hemorrhage has the least utility. Devour's quite good. Boulder Salvo's quite good. Oblivion Strike is excellent. Grip is excellent. Unnatural Endurance, I guess. I guess it's between these two. Which one I want to cut? And I am leaning towards the Reality Hemorrhage. I mean, I got a lot of good removal, and I kind of want to have at least 1 combat trick. God, that's a lot of good cards that I've cut. I don't know. We'll have to see after sideboarding, like, or after a couple of matches, like, what this looks like. So it wants us to go 10-5. Yeah, we're almost mono black. What does it look like if we do go mono black? So we're playing 6 red cards. I mean, they're pretty good though. The Invoker's very good. The Free Runner's very good. The Commando's quite good. Yeah. Yeah, I think we can go 10-5 with the Crumbling Vestiges to help us fix. Alright guys, this has been Doug with Basement Level Magic. Stick around, we'll have round 1 shortly.